Hi guys, it's Sue with Survival, testing out some new equipment today. My good friend Phyllis Mulkey sent me that wonderful box full of goodies as I showed y'all, and I'm trying out my tripod today. Kind of hanging on a cliff here too, so if y'all see me end up down there, you'll know what's going on. Heard somebody sneeze in the forest. If you sneeze in the forest, no, just kidding. That's just a joke. I want to sit here, and I want you to focus on this back here, because this is where I like to hang out, as you'll see a lot. And you'll probably say, how come you don't go anywhere else? Well, this is where I am, so this is what you use. I wanted to redo a video that I did a while back, and it was talking about when I camped when I was a kid. And for my dad's 80th birthday, I wanted to interview him about our camping experiences. He's an early Alzheimer, and I want to remember as many things as I can from his point of view. But I didn't get to do that, but I will. And I will make it a part 2 of this one someday, so that you can see his take on being a parent taking us camping as kids. But I'm going to tell you what all that I remember from that. When we were kids, we used to go camping every 4th of July. My mom is one of 13 kids. My dad is one of 7. When we went camping, we had tons and tons and tons of cousins, aunts, uncles, grandmothers, grandfathers, everybody that showed up. So we had a pretty full campground. I went to Gunnersville State Park, and that is where that all of our family ended up. We tent camped for years and years and years. We had a massive tent. We had cots, we had sleeping bags, we had bags, whatever it was. We could fit a lot of people in that tent. And we did, because it never failed that it rained. And when it rained, you were in the tent for a little while. Some of the things I remember from camping as a kid. Camping as a kid. Okay, so I didn't realize until I was an adult and went camping how much work went into taking kids camping, taking other people camping. When you go camping, it's good to take people who are of equal status as you, meaning that they know. Of course you want to take people that haven't been camping, but when I'm saying people of camping status, when you go camping, it's nice to go with somebody who knows how to set up a tent, who knows how to put up a hammock, who knows how to put up a tarp, who knows how to cook on a fire, who knows how to build a fire, all those kind of things. It's nice to go camping with an experienced person. When I was a kid, I didn't realize how much it took to go camping and to take a family camping. Now, when we got to camp, as kids, our responsibility was to clean all the pine straw and the leaves and the debris away from where the campsite was going to be. You didn't want to lay on pine cones at night in your tent. You didn't want to catch pine straw on fire around the fire ring, so you had responsibilities. Our responsibility as kids when we were small was clean up the debris. Now, we did a thing called pine straw houses, and for all the pine straw that we drug off, we put it over to the side of the camp, and we would make a big huge square or rectangle, and then we would start dividing it into rooms, and we would build couches, we would build a table and chairs, all out of pine straw. It was only about this tall off the ground, but you built a complete house that way. And then by the time you finished building your pine straw house, camp was getting set up. Mom and Dad put the tent up. Everybody was there. They had their responsibilities. A lot of work goes into taking a family camping. It's one thing to go out by yourself and throw your hammock up and throw your tarp up so you don't get wet and you're ready to go. You know, you're pretty well set till it's time to cook. But when you take a family, it's a different thing. So our parents kept us occupied like that. That was pretty awesome. Now, the adult responsibilities. This is another whole subject within itself. I'm going to tell you what I remember seeing my mom and dad and all the men and women who went camping with us doing. Men versus women camping as a family. My dad made sure that my mom had everything that was possible to make her camping trip enjoyable. Now, as I said before, my mom came from 13, my dad came from 7. There was 55 of us immediate grandchildren. Well over half of those always showed up when we went camping, and we had a blast. You know, cousins are like brothers and sisters that you see here and there, but when you're with them and when you're with family that was as close as we were, you just pick right back up where you left off. 4th of July every year was a huge deal. Now, as I said, my dad made my mom comfortable. He always took a 2-bowl sink. My dad was a plumber. I'm a plumber by trade. I can do it. Not big stuff, but I can help you out. But my dad took a 2-bowl sink for my mom, and he took 2 5-gallon buckets. Now, we had a lot of people. We're not talking about just backpack hammock camping. We're talking about a lot of people. A lot of people to cook for, a lot of people to care for, a lot of kids, a lot. So he would set up my mom a kitchen, and she had this 2-bowl sink and these 2 5-gallon buckets, and we would boil water, and you put hot in one side for your soapy stuff, wash it, put it in the other side, rinse it off. There was a lot of women there to help. There was a lot of men there. Now, the coolest thing that I ever saw as a kid that will forever be etched into my brain of when we were camping, as you know, there's that rainstorm that comes up. Whenever everybody went camping with us, they knew to bring a hammer. Everybody had a hammer. Every man had a hammer, I should say. When the rain would come, all of a sudden, it was like you poked an anthill, and all these carpenter ants went into full mode. Around the tent, around everything that water could possibly get under, you would see every man run out with their hammer. They would turn it over, and they would start digging these ditches around the tent. Now, I didn't know when I was a kid. I didn't pay attention to any of this stuff, but when they put the tents up, they would mound the pine straw and stuff up on the sides of the tent, so that when the water came down when it rained, it banked off of that pine straw and went out right into those ditches that they dug. Now, as a kid, I thought that was the funniest thing ever. It started raining, you know, it was hot. It was July. We wanted to go outside and play in the rain when it started, but oh, no. First off, the men took off, they dug those trenches, and our tents were safe. We did not sleep in water that night. Men versus women jobs. Women cooked, the men set up, took care of things. But also, the men did other things that I didn't realize then how that also fell into place. I knew that after we ate, there was a ritual, and it wasn't nice. I didn't like it. No kid liked it, but I'm going to tell you what it was. There was a ritual. I guess you could call it more of torture when we were kids, when we camped. We had this rule that after we ate, you couldn't swim for an hour. What? You come to the lake, you brought your inner tubes, you brought your cousins, you brought your favorite swimsuit. What do you mean you can't swim for an hour? We've already had to drive for an hour or more. We've had to wait for them to put up tents and stuff. We built, I don't know, villages full of pine straw houses. We waited for the kitchen to be set up. We waited for the campsite to be set up. We ate, which also took time to prepare. And now you gotta wait an hour after you eat to go swimming? Little did I know when I was a kid that hour afforded time to clean up after that huge meal. It didn't matter if you were roasting hot dogs over the fire. There was still things to clean up and to prepare, and more than likely the women were preparing for the next meal while they were cleaning up that one. If there was meat to be marinated or whatever it was, you know, potato salad to be made, we made it at the campsite. There's nothing I haven't ever made at the campsite that I made at my stove at home. But that hour of torture that we had to wait, I didn't know. I was a kid. I wanted to go swimming. It was to let the ladies clean up and to get things straightened out. But boy, we knew what was coming. We knew the fun we were going to have when we hit that water. Because back in the old days, before there was all this plastic stuff that you could get at the stores, you used what you had. And it was the best time ever on the water.